went back in time to kill the evil from the future. 3 years ago, before Korenloc's regression, a spear was pointed at Korenloc's throat. Korenloc muttered, "Ugh, I lost." Aaron Danua replied, "Still, it is clear you have practiced tirelessly. Your fundamentals are solid. It looks like you have focused on the 8 trigram spearmanship. Was there a reason for that?" Korenloc said, It was the first thing that stood out to me in the martial arts section of the library." Aaron Danua asked, "Oh, then why did you choose the spear?" Korenloc answered, "I heard it is easier to handle than a sword." Aaron Danua looked back and said, "That is efficient." Korenloc added, "If I'm going to learn, I might as well learn yours." Aaron Danua interrupted, "No, you cannot. That would only consume you, Koren. Stick with the 8 trigram spear for at least another 6 months." Korenloc sighed. He thought of the final boss Balthazar's secret art, 6-step spearmanship, and said to himself, "I wanted to learn the 6-step spearmanship, so Saihu introduced me to that non-playable character. But there was so much to learn. Even after over a month, there was barely any progress. I envied Saihu. All he had to do was open his skill window, and he could cast great magic instantly. But just being envious will not get me anywhere. Bit by bit, step by step, that is how I will move forward. Ja, Lan, Na, Dian, Jia. These were the basic 7 forms, the advanced 8 forms and the rest." A few moments later at night, Korenloc whispered, "I did it." Aaron Danua held Korenloc's hands and said, "Success in just 2 months. Even though I thought 6 months was a short estimate." Korenloc, confused, asked, "Huh?" Aaron Danua asked, "Why do you want to get stronger? If it were only about being strong, then Saihu alone is more than strong enough." Korenloc answered, "Even a hero needs a companion. Someone has to drive the wagon beside him. More importantly, if I get stronger, fewer people will die." Aaron Danua, shocked, said, "You are a good kid." Korenloc replied, "I am just ordinary, really." Aaron Danua smiled, "Right." Korenloc thought to himself, the Mage Tower Rebellion incident. The mages of the tower who sided with Fermac Daman shattered the shell of Aaron Danua, who had taken on the guise of Chairman Ariu. Once the shell was gone, the real Aaron Danua returned to the world. According to the scenario, she then died. She left the players with her will to protect the world, and the Hidden Peace Tribulation treasure vault was unlocked. That was the event, an event no player was ever meant to stop. That is what everyone believed. But the hand I held was warm, and her voice was kind. This person dies. Knowing that, I could not smile back at her anymore. Aaron Danua suddenly stopped and asked, "You know the story of me and Taites, do you not?" Korenloc stammered, "Huh? Oh, yes." He thought, she passed on everything, including the 6-step spearmanship, to her prized disciple. But his goal was the coming of paradise. In other words, the end of the world. In the end, she refused the final step of succession. That, surely, was the greatest and most tragic failure of her life. Aaron Danua said, "I hesitated and agonized over it. After all, I have experienced too many failures and have not always made the right choices." She then shouted, "Korenloc!" Korenloc thought, "This is..." Aaron Danua turned around and asked, "Will you take me, Aaron Danua, as your master?" Korenloc thought to himself, it is a line and event every player of the heroic legend of Arhan knows. An event available only to players who meet a ton of conditions and accumulate good karma. Korenloc kneeled down, bowed his head and declared, "Yes, I will take you as my master." He added inwardly, but by then, game knowledge did not matter all that much anymore. Aaron Danua hugged Korenloc tightly with her graceful figure and said, "It is okay to fall, just get back up. It is okay to fail, just succeed next time. It is okay to cry, just smile even bigger after that. Stick to your own justice, your own conviction. Walk the righteous path. I will give you the blessing of the goddess." She kissed Korenloc's forehead. Korenloc thought to himself, "I will never forget the warmth of that moment, ever." And a few moments later, City of the Dead, Nazria Korenloc thought to himself. For 300 years, the same night of death repeated. But the Immortal King's army was slowly getting stronger. The precarious 116-2 balance that had lasted 3 centuries had reached its limit. Aaron Danua fled from the dead and muttered, "Tonight is the 3rd night. At this rate, Georg, the Immortal King, will fully become a lich. It is cutting it close this time." Korenloc suddenly appeared and said, "Do not worry. Georg has already been dealt with." He continued, "Let us not rush. We still have time. I came to save you, Aaron." Korenloc thought to himself, when the Immortal King Georg dies, the city's time rewinds 3 days. All the undead he created vanish with it, as if nothing had ever happened. Nazria had a population of 1.2 million. If the undead escaped the city, the entire continent would be destroyed. So Master made a pact with the Reaper. By day, it is a peaceful city. By night, it becomes a city ruled by the undead, and thus it continues, in an endless cycle. However, we must defeat the undead bosses and kill Georg within 3 days. To do this, Master split her soul in two. The soul here has repeated this 3-day loop, forgotten even by the real body's memory, for 3 centuries. But Georg had begun to notice the loop. And now this loop has reached its limit. So I made a deal with the Reaper. I will purify Nazria within 6 months. Now with that deadline approaching, we have looped 3 more times. On at night, we fought the undead. By day, we went on dates. We read books. As Arandanua rested on Korenlok's shoulder while reading, she let out a soft laugh. Hoo-hoo, Korenlok continued thinking. We watched plays. Arandanua clapped joyfully while stealing glances at Korenlok's attractive body. We visited the circus. And now, the final moment has come. Arandanua said, thanks to you, I have had fun. Korenlok asked, did you not get tired of seeing the same thing for 300 years? Arandanua smiled. Watching it alone and watching it with someone are 2 very different things. Korenlok said, I am glad you enjoyed it. It is a shame we never got to visit that amazing restaurant. Arandanua replied, but we do not need a fancy place for it to be meaningful. Everything is enjoyable with my future disciple. Korenlok said, Aran, tonight. Arandanua answered softly, yes. Then looking into his eyes, she said, tonight. We will purify Nazria and end this eternal night, right? Korenlok gently touched her delicate face. Yes. Based on my theory, it is possible. I already tried it with Park Sihu in the last round, he thought. It will work. As long as there are no unexpected interferences. Korenlok added, so do not feel pressured. I told you, this is me paying you back. Just grant me a wish when this is over. Arandanua blinked, surprised. A wish? Hey, are we... The regressions had lasted for 300 years. Georg said, I understand now. The original runes and... After countless deaths, Georg had found the answer, Korenlok thought. As Georg gazed at the rune, unending paradise, he said, placing 2 runes, front and back, and the resulting rune was unending paradise of the dead. Korenlok gritted his teeth. Let us defile the original runes. Nazria's cycle is over. The curse on the city has been amplified several-fold. Georg muttered, finally, success. Kuhu, ha-ha. Korenlok stared ahead. Georg transferred. His eyes blazed with dark energy. He transformed into the immortal king, Lich. The Lich roared, I will kill you, witch. This time, I shall ravage your corpse, destroy your body, and defile even your soul. Battle priest stationed in Nazria, Cruz, looked out the window in horror. What is this, he thought. All of the undead in the monitored zone are converging in one place. This has never happened before. Korenlok muttered, the true immortal king is summoning every undead in the city. Now begins the limitless wave. The undead march has begun. As Korenlok blocked a huge boulder, Arandanua called out, are you all right? Sometimes anomalies happen, but this is the first of its kind. We should hide for now and prepare. Korenlok agreed. Yes, in that case. The Lich used his skill, Doombolt. Arandanua cried out, Kyuk, another Doombolt. Korenlok gritted his teeth. This is not over. The Lich unleashed corrosion, contamination, declaration, the land of death. Doombolts rained from the sky. The earth was poisoned. This is endless. Arandanua shouted. Georg must already have become a complete Lich. That means the magic power in this city is nearly infinite. Do not stop moving. Move around. Suddenly, mid-rank undead creatures. Undead hunters chased Korenlok and Arandanua. Korenlok used his skill, 6th wave. He leaped, slicing the head off an undead hunter with Sura. Arandanua warned, do not use aerial movement. If you stop in midair. Korenlok activated Rune of Hardening on his hands, Rune of Wind on his feet. He darted across the battlefield, cutting down rune hunters one by one. Arandanua watched and smiled. He is strong. The Lich shrieked, you slippery rascals. Die. He unleashed Doombolt. 10 strikes. Ku ha ha, ha ha, then, aha. He stopped, confused. This cannot be. My Doombolts are disappearing? Korenlok, glowing with brilliant light, declared, have you forgotten what sunlight looks like after 300 years of endless nights? Then look carefully now. The Lich gasped. Impossible, Korenlok replied. Oh, it is possible. He activated Solar Focus, Klaus Solus. With a calm smile, he said, this is the sun. The Lich stared at him in disbelief. The sun? Do not make me laugh. How would you have suddenly manifested such power? And with that, the Lich used his skill, Doombolt, maximum output. Lich said, hoo-ha, ha-ha-ha. You really thought you could win with that? I have the magic of the endless moon blessing me. As the undead rushed towards Korin Lach, as a bright light shines, Lich was shocked and confused. As Korin Lach used Rune of the Sun, Rune of Fire, all over the ground, Lich said, Runes? How did you write this many? Korin Lach said, You are right. It is not possible to suddenly manifest this kind of power. Korin Lach said to himself, These last 10 days with Master, the reason I even had the leeway to act like a proper disciple was because of the battle traces that had been left behind. As Eren Denua draws Rune of Fire, Korin Lach said to himself, By a hero who does not mind being forgotten, as Eren Danua defeated George before, and she used the Rune of the Sun. Korin Lach said to himself, Those traces had built up during those 300 lonely years, because during countless battles, Master wrote runes all around the city. Korin Lach used his skill, Concentrated Sun, Clausola's partial release. Korin Lach said it is a pity, but this is the last night. Disappear, Immortal King. As Korin Lach used his skill, Clausola's solar manifestation, Korin Lach said to himself, It melts, it burns away, it purifies. No matter what kind of mage you are, or what power you bring forth, that power will not be realized. Ultra-large-scale purification. Lich said, Impossible. How can a mere human possess this much power? After 1.2 million deaths during these past 300 years of darkness, all of the shadows were swallowed by the sun. A few moments later, the Reaper appeared and said, You really did it. Incredible. To think this would be caused by something from the Tribulation Treasure Vault. Korin Lach said, Well, this kind of thing can only happen once. It is not entirely my own power. The Reaper said, You have completely fulfilled your side of the contract. Thus, I will also fulfill my side, Queen. Eren Denua said, This is really the end. And she looks at Korin Lach and said, Korin, once this contract ends, I know. Korin Lach said, Since I experienced this once already. Korin Lach said to himself, You who protected this land for 300 years will disappear. Eren Danua said, You worked hard. Korin Lach said, I really did. Eren Denua said, Did you falter a lot? Korin Lach said a few times. Eren Denua said, Did you cry a lot? Korin Lach said, Always. And he said to himself, Still, I will never forget you. As he remembered the past, Eren Denua hugs him and said, Still, I will never forget you. I hope you remain true to yourself. Hold on to your convictions and walk the path of a king. As long as you do, you will be, Korin Lach said to himself. Since even if the you of the present has different memories than my master back then, Eren Danua kissed Korin Lach's forehead and said, A hero. Korin Lach said to himself, You comforted me the same way, with the same words. In the present, Eren Danua said, And I will let the goddess's blessing dwell within you. Korin Lach said to himself, Even then, you were, Korin Lach said, Ah. As Eren Danua kissed him and said, to himself, just as heartfelt, Eren Danua said, Korin, I truly hope you will be happy. As tears came out from her eyes, Korin Lach said to himself, The moment the sun had fulfilled its role and darkness had receded once more, all traces of Eren would vanish. Besides the disciple she raised like her own child, there are no visitors to this castle. Balthazar, due to the betrayal of that disciple, whom she had regarded as her successor, the queen was sealed for 80 long years. What awakened her from her long slumber in silence and solitude was a sudden surge of memories. 300 years ago, back when she wandered the world, as Eren Danua said to the Reaper, Reaper, make a pact with me. Korin Lach said to himself of Nazria, which she had somehow forgotten. Eren Danua said, Ugh. And she said to herself, Is this the 3,784th time? Korin Lach said to himself, The endless battle with the black mage that was tied to this city with her. Eren Danua said to herself, It must have been tedious and difficult for 3 centuries for the other me. Korin Lach said, Reaper, make a pact with me. The Reaper said to himself, This boy, was he not Balthazar's disciple? I thought, and he betrayed Balthazar, came to find me. Korin Lach said to himself, This time, I want to be the one to save you. Korin Lach said, I came to save you, Eren. Korin Lach said to himself, for her, as the questions continued, the final memory was. Eren Danua blushed and said, No, wait. Eren Danua said earlier, I'll give you the blessing of the goddess. As she kissed Korin Lach, a portal opens. Professor Josephine said, Eren, I brought a new book. Do you want to read? Eren Danua said, Ooh, I have gone crazy. Completely insane. Professor Josephine said, "What are you doing?" Arandanua touched her lips and said to herself, now that the memories have been combined, they would not disappear. My student, Corin Locke said to himself. And the memory of her very first kiss would remain as one that would never disappear. The second holy site of Zion, Grand Cathedral, a priest said. Nasria, the city of 1.2 million undead, got purified in the span of one night? Yes, it was like the sun. This must be a blessing for humanity. The saintess said, I know. Corin Locke said to himself, the saintess said to have the greatest power in history. Estelle. 4 years ago, she visited Nasria and succeeded in purification through a prayer ritual, but it reverted back to its original state after just 3 days. Nasria was both a nuisance and a source of fear for humanity, but it was a controlled problem, though now there was a power that actually purified Nasria permanently. This situation, where not even the identity of the person with that power could be found, is the worst kind of fear, the unpredictable kind. The saintess said, we must find out who purified Nasria. Corin Locke said to himself. This news stirred every power across the continent, including the Mage Tower and the church, and even toward the freezing north. At the Dingle Peninsula, North Kingdom, Corin Locke said to himself, in the brutal cold, in a land swarming with monsters, the people of the north were always prepared for war. Thus, this place inevitably became one where only strength is revered, and admired. 80 years ago, a warrior had appeared in this place. Dunskais said, trembling. Forgive me, owner, Corin Locke said to himself. That was the person most suited to stand at the pinnacle. Suddenly, a beam of light shot through Dunskais's near Dunskais's face, and he said, Kuwa, as a spear was thrown by Tetes Valtazar. Tetes Valtazar said, the sun was taken from you. Dunskai said, Kyuhuk. Tetes Valtazar said, well, fine. So who was it? Tetes Valtazar. Dunskai shouted, Corin Locke, that bastard. He is also definitely the one who killed Fermac. He called himself Arandanua's first spear. Tetes Valtazar said, Corin Locke. Dumeric said, is it a name you know? Tetes Valtazar said, of course. Because my nemesis has changed from the boy named Park Sihu to him. To think he revealed himself in less than a year, as he crushed the arm of the chair. Dumeric said, Kuh. This power, as he feel intense pressure. Tetes Valtazar said, my beloved teacher, the one I loved and admired, Arandanua. If you claim to be her first spear, then I will just have to go and meet you in person, Corin Locke. Corin Locke said, Who? So I am a second year now. Thanks for tuning in. I truly appreciate each and every one of you who took the time to watch this video. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this. If you enjoyed what you saw, consider sharing my videos or channel with your friends who might also enjoy it. Your support means the world to me and helps my channel grow. Let's keep this community thriving together. Until next time, see you in the next video.